Hello, everyone. In the last day of April, this is the news summary because it's not gonna be shortcut if I'm gonna just try to tell you about, well, honestly, five news segments, more or less seven news shortcuts with my kind of opinion. This is actually my childhood project that I decided to bring back. Mm, but this time without editing, but with bare English because it was 14 years ago. It was the last day of March 2011, uh, and my English was really bad. But I decided to bring back 1 month ago, and I didn't succeed because in March there was so many things happening, especially with Donald Trump, that I decided that it's a good idea to bring it back. But I'm bringing back in the April. Uh, the setup's supposed to be different, but I just realized how bad it looks from the perspective of my bed that is next to me. It doesn't look too good. Dark lighting because my beard is ridiculous and I don't know how to cut it to make it look good. But obviously I can turn the lights on. But yeah, that's better. But setup from the childhood will never be beaten. It was in the room that I don't go to anymore. Blue walls kind of ruined that, but there was a carpet on the wall in the background. That was just perfect, and I set up, on in the middle of the room a desk. So that was just something else. Now I wanted to put a kitchen table kind of simulated and sit on the bed, but it's not anymore what I wanted. It's not. I can't just set it up. I can't just set the phone to make it sharp and see how much time has passed. It's a small phone. Anyways, let's start with the very recent news from 2 days ago. Power outage in Spain, which happened in 29th April. I wanted to record this program like 5 days ago, 4 days ago when there was a funeral of a pope, but like, who would have thought that Spain and Portugal would have a problem with power, which apparently happened not because of cyber attack or as some has assumed that it's because of the very big differences in the weather, but apparently it was because of interconnector between France and Spain having a fail. Who would have thought? And that was the actual reason. Who would have thought? But people that give expertise why did this happen and why we couldn't watch tennis for a day. Iga Świątek had to wait, for example. Uh, One of the tennis players even had to finish a set. That was only one game that actually was happening during the outage. And the other guy didn't win anyways. He was stronger. He got up to the tie breaks, but nothing else. He lost anyways. I thought he will at least win a set. Hurkacz had that kind of power during breaks caused by rain. Anyways, they think that weather changes actually might have been a thing, a reason. But official one is interconnector having a fail, and that was the reason why we had an outage in Spain and Portugal. Apparently, when I checked, televisions were working, like RTVA and RTP, which are national TVs in Spain and Portugal. Second news is obviously Pope died on the Easter Monday, which was 20th April or 21st. I don't remember really. Sorry for misinformation, I just don't remember. Anyways, he was really sick, and we could assume that he could die the same day as John Paul II. John Paul II, I'm sorry, which was 2nd April, if in case you don't remember. That was 20th anniversary of the very thing. And now think about it. Pope Francis could die at the same day. But no, he held it, thankfully. There was a second date, 10th April, which Poland knows very well because of the plane crash in 2010. Pope survived that date, but he died on the Easter Monday. Very significant, very symbolic, I would say, especially that he actually lived on Easter. And maybe he was in the best form. He was definitely better form than John Paul II, for example. But still, John Paul II had very long history of sicknesses. That's why he was weeks before death, very weak. But he was actually kind of ready to live still, but he was very. Uh, excuse me, I lost the word. I prepared myself. I have a notes, but I still forgot the word. He couldn't move too much. All right, that's the word I wanted to use. Anyways, that happens for the best of us. It happens for the worst of us. And Pope sadly died after meeting J.D. Vance. And I also saw online in the news channel, a video, probably last video of Pope, where he was still very mad at J.D. Vance that he wasn't listening, according to the Pope, and uh, he was, inserting his notes mid his speeches towards him. When he was talking to him, he was breaking his talk. I lost the words again. Uh, he was really mad, but he didn't mention that straightforward. He was like, "Don't be like that. That you interrupt someone when someone's talking." That's how I remember this video, last video of Pope. Uh, and he mentions that people he asked people to obviously pray for him because he was very weak and he wasn't feeling very well. Well, he died on apparently, I don't remember the reason, but he was in sleep paralysis at the end, so one of his organs probably had failures. Uh, but since he had surgery on the belly around this, probably somewhere there something failed. And also he had a heart attack, so it wasn't just. He really was. It was very hard to make him survive. I'm sorry that I'm talking like that, but I'm really surprised because hours ago I could just talk and speak very well. Now I have an issues, and I wanted to scrap it up in 15 minutes, and it's already 9, so it's very hard. It's gonna be hard, and the biggest problem is there's no editing. All right, so imagine that. Imagine recording something well in one take, even if it's not really one take because I have a pause function in the camera on the phone. Anyways, third topic is something that I wanted to focus last day of March 2025, but I didn't record it. Trump situations. I wanted to make whole list of what Trump did, wrong or right, and how fast forward he did very well. Not very well, a lot. he succeeded to do his plans a lot in March. In April, he's thankfully kind of took a break a little bit, slowed it down a little bit, let it move on slightly more. Also, he had situations like he wanted so badly to make a peace between Russia and Ukraine in April, obviously, because in March started with a fight in the White House. We all remember that he literally told Zelensky to get out of the White House. So that was all about his uh, speaking, peace talk. Uh, well, and yeah, Trump's tariffs caused a crash on the stock market at 7th April. You will see all the links in the description. I basically took it all from the one of the British sites, and they have literally whole article about what Trump did. So maybe one day I will make a whole timeline of what Trump did since January, since the impeachment. Anyways, that was at 7th of April. He also been uh, escalating tariffs on China, starting with 104%. I don't think that was a start. I think it was starting with 60 something when he basically announced tariffs for everyone. There was a 104% for China at 8th April, uh, promising 145 at 10th April in the 15th anniversary of a Smolensk tragedy. Uh, Smartphones were excluded at 12th April. To hold it eventually at 22nd April. So for 90 days. So we will see in like 80 days past. We will see in 82 days if tariffs will stay and if they will stay in the same way. That's very important. He also can tell whatever Russia is good or bad. And on final attempt at peace, he proposed giving away Ukraine's Crimea, from Crimea it's all started, for Russia. Crimea, actually. But the way it's written in English makes me say Crimea. Because there were a lot of Russian crimes. Circa 2014. Anyways, to stay at the political topics, there were 4 presidential debates in Poland in April. All right, it all started in Konski with 2 debates. One debate wasn't really planned; it was a plan for one-on-one kind of debate, but it ended with 8 people debating out of 13 registered candidates. Anyways, for news, China proposed GPMI, General Purpose Media Interface, as an alternative for HDMI. That's very interesting news that I really wanted to talk about. And I hope I will finish before 15 minutes. No, it's not gonna be possible, so I will have to activate channel first after creating. Anyways, it offers up to 192 gigabytes per second of bandwidth and 480 watts. And there are 2 variants. This the best with the what offerings are is the type B, a little bit bigger, GPMI, and there's a smaller type C providing only 96 gigabytes per second, 240 watts. I'm really sorry. I don't know why I cannot speak as fluently as few hours ago. There's a fifth news. Nvidia promised that RTX 5060 Ti 16 gigabytes RAM will be better than 3060 Ti by 50 times, which was obviously poor marketing to sell a card because according to LTT video, link in description, there was only around 20% better performance at the average. So, well, let me tell you, Nvidia really has a problem. Now there are tariffs, so we don't even know if 6000 series would be better because, you know, how to put it straight. One thing is more RAM as they gave us finally on 5060 Ti. Finally, not 8 gigabytes, but 16. Very well. But there needs to be better connector with more watts probably or more volts. I'm not really sure. I'm not an electrician, but it needs to be corrected as the best cards 5090, 5080, 4080, 4090 cards are still melting connector. So Nvidia really need to rethink what do they should do to keep the quality and performance and let us live without issues and without the worry that we have paid a lot of money for a card, which now will be even more thanks to the tariffs, because well, tariffs on everything from USA. So think about it. It's gonna be more expensive everywhere, not just in China. So, how to keep money to quality kind of thing? They need to repair the connector. They need to repair RAM. They as well. 16 gigabytes is something gamers have pushed on them somehow, and obviously developers of games, as 8 gigabytes is definitely not something enough. It should be at least 32 or even 64. That's my opinion. Uh, Although we need to push on developers of games to optimize games, obviously. So hopefully they will work it out at 6000 series RTX that we need more RAM, we need more memory, we need more power. But the power connector needs to handle that power instead of melting the connector, alright? But also, programmers need to remember, and creators of the game, that optimization is very indeed needed. So, yes, I thankfully recorded the last day of April, sadly, in the way I didn't want it, by a hand. I wanted to record it with a wide view. Sadly, I couldn't deliver it. I'm very sorry for that. Maybe next month I will ask news anchors of any kind to maybe perhaps even co-work with me. I don't know why they should. I don't know why they should say yes. Like there will be just this one video on the channel. And why will they think? Some guy just records videos about news. Why should I help him? Exactly. So maybe I will just handle it myself next month. Maybe once again doing the notes on the chocolate box. It is a chocolate box in case you don't know. Very good. You can write a lot of things on it. It's very easy. Anyways, 20 minutes, so I will have to activate the channel anyways. Whatever I think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month, hopefully. And what I wanted to say also is that this is my childhood creation, the last day of month. There wasn't March, so it's actually still very significant to make 14 years later and April finally. because in 2011 I did March and September, and both sucked because of my terrible English and my really long time of thinking. Like I was like, Adamauish, my ba, my art president. Like I tried my best with the accent, so it was something similar to now. But the problem was how I build any sentence and how long I was thinking instead of doing notes. In the same way, any ideas for TV shows were lost because I was just writing titles of episodes instead of writing a script. Young me was dumb. Script is the most important, so I could at least with my MP3, with my phone, with anything, record the dialogues that I was doing and do the audio description of what I'm doing. And that way, I would have audio recordings of a secret spy show, Friends show with Muppets. Actually, I could record it with a camera as well. I didn't done that, so I'm left with names of episodes and sometimes also description of the episode. That's it. I was dumb. And it was in the same year, to be honest. But the notes from 2011 barely lived, really. But the last day of March still lives on my laptop, new laptop, because I downloaded it from old YouTube account that I lost. Anyways, uh, possibility to log in because I changed my phone number. But that's good. I don't really. I actually wanted to cut off from the old account. The problem is that it's still history. There's still the last day of March, whatever I wanted. After 2012, what started to happen on this account was very dumb. I regret that, and it was actually like that almost till the end of the channel. I only don't regret from the late days gaming and streaming. That was reliving. That was me trying to become old me again. Nowadays, I'm yeah at least up to something. Thanks for watching. That you're still tuned. It's been 20. It's been like 5 minutes of not news actually. Me explaining behind the scenes of that idea of doing monthly news summary. And there were also ideas of making a year summary in 2011 as well, like the last day of 2011, to make the best news, in my opinion, uh, over the year. But obviously, what needs to be pointed out, both in September and in March 2011, I did jokes because September was recorded but not finished in editing. And there was also behind the scenes from 2011 when I was showing how I'm moving my desk. That was actually a great idea, I'm not gonna lie, but so, English sucked, so whatever. Like my beard, but I'm not gonna shave it because my chin is too short, and that's why having a beard, to be fair. Also, I'm starting to get bald a little bit. That's why I have long hairs. Everything can be bucked up in some sort of way, so my teeth are still the way they are, so I'm not smiling too often. Everything can be bugged up with something. Um, yes, 2025. I definitely wanted to bring it back in 2012 or 2013. I eventually succeeded in March 2019, but it preceded a few months of terribleness and a nightmare, literal nightmare alive in 2019. But yes, I had it recorded with the webcam on my laptop that is not working now. That's why I cannot really edit it because I cannot unscrew SSD disk to buy a new one and mount it, to install new Windows, to edit the video, because on the Linux it's a bit more complicated and I am not learned well how to use DaVinci Resolve. An online video editor is down only to 15 minutes HD ready, so that's not my thing. Anyways, thanks for watching. 2025. Sorry for the zoom, that was very creepy. Imagine watching like that, such a zoom on TV. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Next month I promise I will be shaved a little bit at least. Cut mustache and beard. This one was recorded on speed dial. And I'm still recording 26 minutes. I actually started at exactly 6 o'clock. I'm seeing now it's 18:26 and it's 26 minutes of the video. So that's very interesting. How about no, I started at 17:59 because it's 30 seconds in on. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you in the last day on I'm sorry. my my throat is not functioning too well. I feel it now. It's probably after the shower that I had like a few hours ago. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the last day of May 2025, where the news will be as interesting, if not more, because Trump is still doing things. Ukraine is still not in the uh, peace with Russia, and it's most likely it's not gonna be. And obviously, there will be a voting in the Poland. Who will be the president? There are two sure candidates, one that might be in the second tour, and 10 of them. There are there just for a show, to be honest. Except for one guy out of this 10 that literally thinks that he can actually get it to the second tour. But he cannot because sadly, it's impossible. I would like to have the change on the Polish political scene, but it's most likely it's not gonna happen. For many reasons. Basically, PIS have too strong propaganda channel and PO have too strong support of so-called free media. So both sides, both parties seems to need each other. That's first, and second, they will never die somehow probably. And I hate this fact. Thanks for watching once again. Sorry for my beard. Sorry for looking like homeless guy. Sorry for long hair. But I like long hair, to be honest. I have really nice hair, as you can see. It's very puffy and sweet. I just need more working on it. It's too long at the end. That's too long. I should cut it. I don't need a barber. I can cut myself. Well, hairs, not hands. All right. Thanks for watching and see you next month in the last day of May 2025. 30 minutes in almost. Thanks for watching. See you once again. Goodbye. Hopefully for now, for real. See you in the